So I've been using Google Analytics for years, well, mostly for analytics and driving up my Google. So if you're not using Google Analytics to drive up your Google results and to figure out what's going on, you definitely want to get on that. But this isn't what this is about. This is about using Google Analytics to help you get better results on your landing pages. You see, we all know that we need to split test out of our ads, right? And it's so worth the time doing that because I've been able to get my costs for ads down so low and my click-through rates up so high by doing just very simple split testing. So you split test the image, you split test the title, you split test the copy, you split test the button colors, like whatever it takes in order to get people to click on your ads. But not that many people spend that same amount of time and effort on their landing pages. And I can guess why. I mean, creating a really dynamic landing page with stellar copy and all the right wording, if done properly, it can take a really long time to do and to get just right. But imagine if you split test just the main things on 3 different landing pages, and that split testing effort just managed to rank things up even just that 1%. Imagine what that additional 1% of people converting can do for your business. So whether you're leading them to a webinar conversion or whether you're leading them to a high ticket conversion, or that 1% becomes the ones that stay with you to the end of the webinar that buys that high ticket thing at the end, it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is that effort you put in will hands down make a difference and move the needle, even if it's just a little slight percentage. Okay, that, especially if you're doing something evergreen and it's running over and over again, that over time can end up making the difference between earning a few dollars to earning a few hundred or a few $1,000s over a lifetime. So is that worth the effort? Hell yeah, absolutely it is. And for those of you who are thinking that this is going to be really scary and complicated because it's like, ooh, it's Google Analytics and it's tracking and it's setting up code, and no. This is so easy. It's crazy. And once you see how wonderful this could be, you're going to be setting up goals for everything in your business. So let's go check it out. And I'm actually going to set something up real time so you could see what I do, so you could go ahead and you can model it for your business. All right, so we are in the back end of analytics, which hopefully looks familiar to you if you've been using your analytics. Before I show you what you want to set up, I just want to show you what I've done. So I like to have all of the pages that I'll be referring to or setting up in analytics already open. It just makes it easier and quicker. And then what I do is I put them in the order as well. Now you could only have one confirmation page if you want. Your confirmation page could also be called your thank you page. Pretty much this is the page that only people who have taken action can get to. So this is the page that shows they've entered their name, they've entered their email address, and then they landed on this thing. Or in your case, this could be the page where they made a purchase of your ebook or your book or whatever, and this is their thank you page for making that purchase. But it's pretty much that page that shows that the customer has given you the action that you're looking for and that you're measuring. That is pretty much all the pages you need open, and of course your analytics. Okay, so let me show you how to set everything up. So the first thing you're going to do is go down to your admin at the very bottom, click on that. And then what you're going to do is find goals, which is way over here on the far right. The one quick thing I want to mention is that if you are selling a product or running any type of e-commerce, there's something here called e-commerce settings that's probably a better setup for you. So this is probably what you want to explore. But this here is just, for the most part, if you are setting up, let's say, looking at webinar conversions, or in this case, doing an online challenge, so looking at conversions from that, or something small you're selling on your website, like an ebook or something, like you could set all of that up under goals. But again, if you're selling lots of merchandise or whatever, your e-commerce is a much better bet. All right, so go ahead, click on goals. Right? And it's very easy. What we want to do is just go to this button here called new goal. And remember, we've got 3 landing pages, so we're going to set up a goal setup for each of those landing pages. So there's a lot of options. You can go back and explore those later. If you're doing different types of things that you want to measure on your website, for example, you come under here, and let's say you're using a calculator, which often does bring a lot of traffic to your website. You definitely want to see if people are engaging with that. You could use this goal right here, and they've got the template set up for that, which is really cool. But we're going to ignore all this for this purpose, and we're going to come down here to something called custom. So click on custom, click continue. Okay, so now we're on step 2 of the process, and step 2 is all about that final destination. So again, that's your final end goal. So the thank you page, registration page, confirmation page, whatever you call it, it's that final thing they get to. Now remember, we're split testing 3 different landing pages, but all the landing pages are going to the exact same confirmation page. So when you're looking at your data, it's important to remember that, because your data is going to be the exact same no matter what results you're looking at, because the data on the confirmation page is the data on the confirmation page, no matter where it came from, okay? And what you're looking at is what landing page brought that data in and that number in to get that data. So I know it sounds a little confusing, but hopefully it'll make sense when I name it. So this is how I name it. So I first of all put down that it's the registration page or confirmation page or whatever, and then I put which landing page it was from. So when I go to my drop down menu and I go to pull which results I'm looking at, it's clear to me which landing page it's from. Okay, so I'm just going to do that, and I'll explain it again when we get to this visually so you could see exactly what I'm talking about, and then you'll go, oh, this is why I took so much time explaining how to name things properly. Otherwise, it'll be a big mess. But if you name things properly, your data will be very nice and clear automatically to you. So trust me, it'll save you time. So this is what I like. The end goal first, which shows me that there's completed registrations, or you could just say shows that they completed their email entry, or they completed a purchase, whatever, just it's that completion. This is what it's showing you. And this here, I'm building it from landing page number 1. So when I come back here to do it for number 2, I'll call it completed registrations from landing page 2. From landing page 3, well, you can guess, it's going to be called completed registrations from landing page 3. Enough said on that. And then what you're going to do here is we're going to go after a destination URL. So just keep it at that. You have some other options. You can play around that later, but right now just choose destination URL. Let's keep this nice and simple. Okay, and then again, you're going to go off to this thing called continue. Okay, so when you get here, you're on step 3 of the process. So you're going to go to, here's your drop down for this. This is basically where your URL of that final step is going to be. So the final step again for me is this challenge confirmation page, and that's the exact URL for it. Again, I've got one final page, so one confirmation page, and that's where it goes. Now it has this thing here called equals to, begins with a regular expression. So I'm just going to point out that equals to this is the exact URL that my final step is. So I'm going to keep it at equal to. So if you got one final page, one thank you page or whatever, that's what you're going to use. If you have multiple thank you pages or multiple confirmation page, I suggest naming them the same thing and just putting code afterwards. So for example, and then you would use this, begins with. So for example, if I have thank you page 1, thank you page 2, thank you page 3, I would go begins with, and then I would put my URL and I would just put thank you. And then it begins with thank you, so it'll automatically look for the results from thank you page 1, thank you page 2, thank you page 3. If that made no sense to you, you're just going to go with, if you got one thank you page, one confirmation page, whatever you're going to call it, just go with equals to, and you're putting that URL in here. Okay, and again, in this case, it's for this page right here. So they get to that page and it's bonus. Okay, then you're going to click this thing on for your funnel, because if you've got multiple steps for them to get to that final thank you page, this is good to put on, and it also will allow you then to see things visually as part of a funnel. So let's just keep that on for now. So don't worry about anything else. And then here under step 1, the URL that goes in here is going to be this URL, which is the landing page for my landing page number 1. And to remind myself of that, landing page 1. There. So clear as day, right? So again, I wouldn't recommend getting too fancy here. You want to look at your data and be super clear on what it is. So this is from landing page 1, and the next one's going to be from landing page 2, and the next one's going to be landing page 3. And if I have 5 landing pages, you get it. Landing page 4, landing page 5. You're not going to get confused. So landing page number 1 is this URL, and that's all I need. And I'm going to put required, just keep it at yes. And that's it. That's all you're going to do. Okay. And then it says verify this goal. So if you've already got data going through, then you're going to go ahead and click on verify this goal. So everything can be verified for you. And then you're just going to click on save. And voila, you set that up. So I've gone ahead and I've done the exact same process for landing page 2 and landing page 3. So let me just quickly show you number 2. So again, just as our fast track through the process, okay? So goal set up, I clicked on custom, I had clicked on continue, then under goal description, I had said completed registrations from, in brackets, landing page 2, but that end goal is just showing me completed registrations. I selected destination, and then I clicked continue, and under the goal details, I said it equals to this exact URL here. That's again my final destination URL, thank you page, confirmation page, whatever. Okay, select the funnel on. I very clearly name it. So this in this case was landing page 2, and this URL, see how it's different? It's the landing page 2 URL. Okay, and then if for my landing page 3, all I did was I called this landing page 3, and I changed this to my landing page 3 URL. And that is it. And in every step, just verify the goal, click on save, and then you're going to have it like this. It's going to look like this. Okay, and then it's clear as anything what had happened. So let me show you why this is important to name things properly, because now you get this beautiful chart. So what you're going to do is come over here to the left. You're going to go to conversions. You're going to go to goals. You've got all these different options of the way to look at the goals, but I'm going to look at this thing called goal flow. Okay, so from goal flow, the first thing you want to do anytime you do anything in analytics is really come over to the far right under the date and just make sure it has a date range that you're looking at. And you could just, if you want to change it, you just click on it and you choose whatever dates you want and just click apply. And that's about it. Then what we want to do is come over here and see how it says goal completed registrations landing page 1. So remember I said how important it was to name things properly, and this is a great example because when you click on that you can see this is my results from landing page 2 and this is my results from landing page 3. So it makes it very clear to me what I'm looking at. So we're going to start off at landing page 1, how many people got to the registration page. So we're going to look at it and it gives me a really nice visual. So when you come over here, what it's going to do is under source, it's going to show you the different sources that have brought in people to your landing page 1. So this here, Facebook is mobile Facebook, so those would be my ads, and then these are all the other things. Active Campaign would be the CRM, so those would be all the emails bringing in people, and those how many people went to landing page 1. Now from landing page 1, if you look over here, that's how many people got to the registration page. So it's kind of a flow, but I'll show you another way to look at it. You could go down to this graph down here, but let me just show you something else. I mostly just look at the goal flow just to see the sources of leads into the landing page. I like to use this thing here called funnel visualization. So we're going to go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to come back here the dates should stay the same. And then I'm going to come over here at the very top where it says the goal option. And I'm going to say, see how it says landing page 1, landing page 2, landing page 3. So I'm going to start off at landing page 1. And what this number is here at the end is how many people off of the landing pages got to the final destination. So there was 113 registrations as a final goal. So 113 people got there. Okay, so what you want to do is scroll down here, and from here you could see that it breaks it up very, very nicely for you. So this is your entrance. So 713 people who entered landing page 1, okay, 638 of them exited, and 75 of them went through to this step, which is completed registrations. And then it actually shows you the percentage. So I could see, so landing page 1 got a 10.52% conversion. And I know my exact number. So 713 people out of all those ads I ran actually got here. And I know exactly how many of those people converted, and I know exactly the percentage that converted. So how incredibly useful is that information? So then I would check landing page 2, and I would see what happened to landing page 2. 232 people came in, and in total from the 232 people, 16 of those converted, which equals 6.9% conversion. And then landing page 3, and we'll have a look at that. And landing page 3 was a 4.15% conversion. So I got a lot less people converted off that. So what that tells me is I need to definitely keep going with landing page number 1. And yay, we've got a winner. So again, you might want to test this over a few more days than I did in order to make your determination and have a few more numbers run through it. But again, it depends on your timeline. It depends on your budget. So if you need to make a decision quickly, at least visually, you could see what's been going on. You can see how many people exited. You can see the percentage that have converted. You can see if the changes you're making is affecting the percentage of people that convert and that choose to go from the landing page to that final destination page. So this is where Google Analytics goals comes in really, really handy. And this, you can imagine how spectacular this ends up looking if you're following, like even on your website, if you're following them from when they get in to when they end up to your sales page or whatever it is. And if you have 2 or 3 different steps in a process, or if you created a funnel with upsells and downsells, and you basically want to start seeing the path people take and where they drop off and how many people who entered actually got through to that final destination, and you want to see it visually, and you want to see all the percentages calculated for you, and you want to see it all laid out. This is where Google Analytics goals comes in super, super handy. Now, I do want to just mention one thing, and that's that a session, so see here, it always says this thing, sessions. Session is one person who goes through and can do multiple different things while they're on your site, right? So people don't always go forward. Sometimes they go backwards, and sometimes they go sideways, and they could just click on anything they want, really. So a session is one person taking multiple actions within your website. The other thing this is an ideal for, just so you know, is this is kind of like, especially for my landing page 1, I know for a fact that landing page 2 and 3, I just sent people from Facebook ads. Landing page 1 is basically where we sent everybody, right? So this number here, the 713 that got to landing page 1, isn't all from Facebook. So then what I have to do is take the number. So I'm like, okay, 713 had a 10.52% conversion, but this is a conversion off then my email list as well. So basically what it's doing is kind of mushing up my cold traffic, which is from Facebook ads, and my warm traffic, which is from the email list, and kind of giving me a cumulative total, which isn't ideal because I really want to see what percentage came in of cold traffic, and I want to see specifically how that landing page is converting specifically for cold traffic. So if that's the case, because otherwise when you look at it that way, this in a way is a little bit skewed, because my landing page one obviously is going to have a higher percentage rate because my warm and my hot traffic is all mumbled in there. And here I'll just show you again what that looks like. If you go to GoFlow, you can see all the different sources that have sent people into this page. So what you could do to remedy this situation is you could then get into creating multiple final step pages. So for example, if your final step is a thank you page and you want to measure it off all these different things, you could have one thank you page that's thank you page Facebook ads, and one that's called Facebook page email list, and one that's called Facebook page from your affiliates maybe, and whatever, because then when you're looking at it visually, you will have the visual representation of how many people went to the landing page and then how many of those went to the various thank you pages you have. And that's going to give you a much more accurate reading, because then you can be like, okay, so my cold traffic on this landing page converted at this percent, and my warm traffic for this landing page converted at this percent. And then you can make a decision, because it very might turn out that you decide that you're going to have a different landing page for your warm traffic and for your hot traffic and for your cold traffic, which makes sense, right? Because they're different people. They either know you already or they don't. You're going to talk about different things and you're going to sell them a different way. So hopefully that makes sense. This was kind of all mushed up together, but just to give you just a really quick decision on which landing page or which landing page we're going to use, and how overall the system is working. And then we're going to go ahead and make our tweaks from there. But again, depending on what you're actively doing, then you're going to make very different decisions. And if you only have one source, if you're only using ads, let's say, then you don't really have to worry. Yours is going to be really, really simple. It's going to say source Facebook ads to your landing page to people who registered. And it's going to be really nice, clean cut and clear. All right, so I hope that made sense. Something to keep in mind. I just wanted to give you that extra tidbit. All right. So if this was helpful to you, and it'll encourage you to set up your own goals so you can get better results, and also start measuring your landing page results, please let me know in the comments if this was useful. Let me know if you're going to use it. Let me know if you have used it, and come back and let me know how it worked out. And my goal is to help you guys get as maximized results as possible. So if you love this and you want to hear more of my lessons, please go ahead, click the bell, and check out my YouTube channel, check out some of my other videos. And if you click the bell, you'll get notified of all my new stuff coming out. And I really do ahead of time appreciate that. Please also check the description below. I'll put a couple links that might be useful to you. And as always, wishing you guys a ton of online success, and I'll see you on the next video.